Staying in Christ.
All right. And it's the best life.
A little best.
Big man thing. All right. Great.
I hate you so.
Love you.
That was intentional.
Ah,
That was
what are you talking about? You're the first play?
what I'm talking about.
Huh? I am aware of what you're talking about.
Okay, I
But
just making sure that
I'm
you're
just
not.
so good at not
You are so
addressing
sickening.
things.
Okay, okay. All right.
Hey guys, welcome back to Zmari Talks. I am your host, Zmari, and it is such an honor to be here with you. So guys, I have a special guest with me today, and I'm so excited to have her here. She has been like, y'all have seen little snippets of this young lady. I can't wait for y'all to kind of just hear her story, hear her life, and just be introduced to her. Cheyenne! Do I say Cheyenne Jinelle? Do I say Cheyenne? Do I say it for government name?
No, you don't say my
Okay,
full
great.
government name.
Okay, great. Good. So we say Shy?
Yes, we know each other, Kitty.
Shy, how are you?
I'm good. I'm great. I'm so excited. So excited because we've been wanting to do this for a while,
Uh-huh.
and I'm just happy. I'm just happy.
So I do this thing where like I just pay attention to what people say, and somehow things just work out that I'm able to facilitate this type of conversation with Cheyenne. So Cheyenne has been wanting to share certain type of content with persons, and I just feel like if we had this opportunity to do this now, so I'm very excited for you guys to hear what she's going to share. But Cheyenne, we don't know who you are. We'd like to get to know who you are. So give us a bit of a background as to who you are, where you come from, family of how much, this kind of stuff. Let us know.
All right. Well, my name is Cheyenne. I am 27 years old.
Young. Uh-huh.
I'm a marketing professional, so I have my bachelor's degree in communications with a minor in international relations and my MBA in international marketing and brand management. And what else is there to know?
That's
I am
fantastic.
from
Uh-huh.
East Trinidad.
All right, that's fine.
I'm
That's
in
fine.
a family of 4.
Mm-hmm.
I am one of many siblings.
Okay.
On my father's side, he has I have a lot of siblings,
All
and
right.
with my mom, I'm one of 2, and I'm the eldest on both sides.
Okay.
So yeah, what else is there to
How
know
does it
about
feel to
me?
be a big sister?
Feels great. I love it. I
Yeah.
love my brother is my life. I always joke and I say that I don't know what I'm gonna do if I have a son because the way I love
Oh.
my brother, I feel like it there's no bounds beyond this love. Like yeah. So
Oh.
I can't wait to
That's
have
so
a
sweet.
son.
Well, I
Yeah.
see you post them up a lot, so that's fantastic. So you're the eldest. Have you
hmm
ever felt like being the youngest, like, be like, okay, there's too much responsibility. I'm fed up of this life.
No, because I'm a kid at heart. So I
Okay.
just
Okay.
I actually tease him and annoy him probably a little more than he annoys me because I like to be in his space. We are 9 years apart, so I like to intentionally like pursue him
Oh.
and like be in his space, be around him, talk to him, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because it's very easy for us to not connect, but I like to be intentional about that because I just love him so
Okay.
much.
Okay. He doesn't get annoyed with.
All the time. Yes,
Okay.
he does. But he annoys me back too.
Normal sibling
He
thing. That's
annoys
good.
me back too. So yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So you said that you have your bachelor's in communications, your MBA, those kind of things like that.
Mhm.
Um, Tell me, like, what age did you finish studying, first of all?
24.
24.
Yes.
So you started pretty young,
Yes.
and it seems like there's a lot of ambition there. Is there?
Yes.
Why?
I think okay, so my MBA I wasn't actually supposed to complete it so young.
Okay.
But then COVID happened. I was taking a break and COVID happened and just so happened that between the time I finished my bachelor's and COVID it was 1 year.
Okay.
So I started my master's during COVID.
Okay.
And completed it in a year as well during COVID. But the driving force for me doing my master's was, I thought to myself, hey, they're offering this program in a 1 year period. You're not going to get that back. Two, the world is on shutdown, so you are missing out on nothing.
True.
You literally have nothing to do in this year but go to work, sometimes stay home, and there's no nightlife. At the time, I was, like in the world, so party and stuff. But there was no nightlife. There was no friends to distract you. There's no, gatherings or whatever. So I was like, I might as well take this time and study and get it over with, so that when the world opens back up, I could enjoy my life.
Yeah, first of all, congratulations, because that's a
Thank
major
you.
achievement. And it shows a lot of discipline too, so that's cool. But yeah, you said there wasn't any nightlife. Like, what was out there for you? Tell me. Tell us
Girl,
your business.
girl.
We want to know.
Out there, well, I used to go on the avenue,
Okay,
with my friends and parties here and there, that kind of thing.
that kind of thing.
That's the nightlife.
What was appealing to you in that life? Tell me. Because
For me,
you don't do that anymore.
no, I do not do that anymore.
So what was appealing then?
I think
Or
for
what were you
me,
looking for?
that is the question. That is the question. I think for me, Kizzy, honestly, I during that time specifically, it was post breakup.
Okay.
So
So we have some
we're
heartbreak
gonna
in
we're
there.
gonna get into my business, yo. We're gonna
Okay.
get into it. Okay, so I was in a 7 year relationship,
Uh-huh.
and I left the relationship because I felt like, which I didn't even know that at the time. I discovered this over time, that I left the relationship partly because of, obviously you think things within a relationship and whatever, you're not compatible, XYZ. But I realized that a lot of who I was lost. I didn't know who I was. I did not have an identity. And I think that when you are building a relationship, especially a long-term relationship, it's so important to know yourself and have your own identity, have your own relationship with God, because He's the one who gives you an identity. You have your identity in Christ, and that was missing from my life. Our relationship with God was missing from my life. So I had no purpose. I had no identity, and I was depressed all the time, all the time. And
in the relationship or before the
in the
relationship?
the relationship started pretty young.
Okay.
So I was 17, and it went on until I was around 24. So yeah. And yeah, I was depressed all the time. I wasn't happy. I didn't know. And when I say I wasn't happy, what I learned is that nobody is ever 100% happy. But in life in Christ, somehow there's always a happiness and there's always a peace. But I was not happy in that. Of course, I'd have moments of happiness, but generally, I was never satisfied. I always felt like I was missing something. I always felt like, and a friend of mine told me once, she said, this is while I was going through the thick of it, she said, you pride yourself so much on your accomplishments. And I had done my bachelor's, done my master's, and I was working in the bank. And this is where Kizzy and I officially met. And, because we worked together. But apart from that, she said, I was working in the bank and I was looking for a job in my field. So, and that was not happening. So I was stagnant for a while. I think for 3 years, I didn't get a job in my field after having, my qualifications. So
more than qualified.
yeah, so that stressed me out. It was heartbreaking. It was frustrating. It was annoying. Especially working in a bank on the front line, dealing with customers and people and personalities and all those different things. And she said, you've done it all, and all you have to do now is sit still and wait, and it's out of your control.
That's good.
And I was so accustomed to having control, and that's when I realized you are accustomed to having control. You take charge of your life. You're a go-getter. You go after things. You go after what you want. But I never realized that at some point, I wasn't actually in control.
That's good.
And the person that I needed to rely on was God.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's where it all kind of started for me, um, in turning back to Christ.
Okay. So you knew him before?
I knew him before. I grew up Catholic, so
Okay.
I grew up going to church with my grandmother, as a young toddler, young girl, and then I would go to church as well growing up. Even used to teach confirmation.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
cool.
confirmation classes and stuff. So yeah.
Grew up Catholic, got into the 7-year relationship,
Hmm.
realized the 7-year relationship wasn't fulfilling you.
Right.
Now you're recognizing, okay, I need something more. I need someone more.
Mhm.
Like you're fighting for control of things and there's no way to control it.
Not only that. Okay, let's delve into the thick of it. Let's delve into the thick of it.
I just coaching
I
on
feel
here at this point.
I feel like within that time frame,
Mm-hmm.
after the relationship ended, my mom and I got into a little argument. My dad came into my room as he was trying to like calm both of us down. I was emotionally drained and I just lost it. And I said, I'm so depressed. I'm so depressed. And it's the first time I said it to
Wow.
them.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm so depressed and nobody even notices or something like that. And he said to me, he said, you're depressed, like how,
You have
and
everything.
I have everything. And I don't remember, I think I mentioned, like, since after the breakup, I've been so depressed, whatever, whatever. And he said something to the effect of, well, I thought you left the relationship to be happy. Like, I thought you were happy.
Wow.
I was finding myself.
Yeah.
I was searching for happiness. I would say that I knew that the relationship wasn't for me anymore, and I knew that I had to end the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Was I happy at that point in time? No.
Mm-hmm.
And I still had to grieve a relationship that I grew up in. I still had to grieve
7 years. Yeah.
7 years. I had to grieve this girl turned woman who's lost. It was the first time I was alone. I was so
Right.
used to being Cheyenne plus somebody else.
Wow.
And I didn't know how to just be Cheyenne. I didn't even know who she was. I didn't know what she liked. I didn't know. And that led me down a path
Mm-hmm.
of searching for identity.
Right.
That led me into a life of partying. When I joined the bank, obviously you build friendships and stuff. I became friends with, this girl and we would go out and stuff. And she was great for the time. We had a good relationship and
Correct.
stuff. And so that kind of fulfilled
Fill
that
the
kind
void.
of void
Yeah.
for a while. But Kizzy, I couldn't sit still. I could not be alone. I could not be alone.
Right.
I and I recognized looking back that I was going out all the time because I could not be alone. I was going by, it was between her and another friend of mine. I would go by either of them, we would go out, I'd spend the night by them, and we would just be living it up. And then my best friend at the time, my childhood best friend, she was gonna come back home the next year. So all through that year and into the next year, she came back home. And when she came back home, that was my girl. That was my friend. That was the person I was familiar with and I was waiting on. And she came back home and we did our thing. We did our thing. We
Live life
we
large.
lived life large. And I think for me, I felt like I was happy
Mm.
temporarily.
Right.
I felt like I was happy. I felt like, I've always wanted to do this. Now, I've never been a partier.
Okay.
Growing up, never really much of a partier. I would go out probably once or twice a year. And that's when that same childhood friend would come home. We would
Mm-hmm.
go out. Because she was always more, um, I guess, extroverted or in that lifestyle than me. I grew up very sheltered, and my parents also were very strict. So
Okay.
I never really did much of that. So I would say that was my time. I honestly felt like, listen, you have not lived, as society like to say, this is your time to live. And I felt like that's what I needed to do to discover myself and to be happy and to get over the breakup, if we're gonna be honest, right? So yeah,
What made you stop? Did something happen?
when you enter certain doors and you open yourself up and you're doing things that pleases the devil, you attract persons who you know, I don't want to say it.
Are
I
we,
don't.
are
I
we,
want to be very careful of what I say, but you attract people
are we
who
going into this or not? I'm asking you upfront.
are we going in it? We're not going in
You don't
it
have to,
that
I mean, you
much.
can talk around
We're
it.
talking around it.
Okay, great. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm
So
keeping this, by the way.
yeah, whatever.
Go ahead.
So yeah, you attract people who you know and who the devil can use basically.
Who see you
And
as a prey?
yes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and things happened, and I found myself stepping back, and
From
in the
that,
hurt, in the
from that situation, that's when you realize you need to step back. Like that was in the
that was the
climax,
climax of it. But
right?
there were things before that I no longer felt fulfilled.
Right.
That's one.
So you're frustrated in
And
your
I was
career.
frustrated in my career. I was frustrated in my love life. I was frustrated in life. I just felt empty. I
Mm-hmm.
felt like there's got to be more to my life than this.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, when you are stuck in a place, and especially in your career, there's nothing left for you to do. So I was left thinking, okay, what am I supposed to do? I want
Good.
more. I want these things. I want this life. I'm trying. I've done the things to get, society tells you, get your education, they promise you this white picket fence life. And I didn't see that in sight. I was like, what am I supposed to be doing here?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm doing everything textbook, the way
Right.
I'm supposed to be doing it according to society.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think I started to feel like I need I need God, and my depression just escalated and escalated to the point where I would cry myself to sleep
Mm-hmm.
at night. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't be happy. I was so depressed, and I remember hearing and getting suicidal thoughts, and thinking to myself, or hearing this, it wasn't even myself, but
Yeah.
what I know now is that that wasn't me, because I recognize it, and I'm so grateful that I had God in my life from a young age. So I knew that it wasn't of God, and I knew that that wasn't me. I knew that I didn't even want that, but it
Mm-hmm.
was coming to my mind. I was hearing thoughts of, you could end this right now. You don't have to feel this. Like, you could, just, slit your wrist. Like, very specific ways to end my life coming to my mind. And, you should just do this and that. And it was heartbreaking. And I remember just praying. Like, there was even a night, like, I remember, like, getting down on my knees. Why am I getting emotional? We are not gonna do that here. We are not gonna do that here.
Please do. Go ahead.
No, we're not getting emotional. We are not getting emotional.
Go ahead.
But I remember literally like getting on my knees and praying to God, like literally crying, literally bawling out to God, like, I need you to fix this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I need you to take this from me, because I am broken. I am literally broken, and I don't know how to fix it.
I want to pause it there because, like, this is the second time you're saying a story to me, and
Hmm.
I remember telling you the first time, like, I literally had reached that point where it's like, you don't know, everything in your life just seems to be going bad at once,
Hmm.
and you're like, okay, God, I don't think there's anything I could do. Like, I've run out of all options, I've run out of all thinking, there's
And isn't that
no
funny?
solutions.
Isn't that funny that we we exhaust all our resources here on earth, everything that we think that we have control over,
Mm-hmm.
and it's only when it's in our deepest darkest time, when we're like rock bottom and we have no other option, we cry out to God. And it's so true, he literally
Completely down.
breaks
Well,
you
and
to
it's not
build
that
you.
he's breaking on. It's like
The breaking, yeah.
he allows you to go through your own things until you
You
realize that
realize you
it's
need him.
that's it.
He's like, okay, you wanna do what you wanna do,
So all that
you go ahead.
control and all that needing to be, know what going on and those kind of things, it's like you really have to come to the end of yourself and
Hmm.
And I went through my own depressive thoughts, knowing that, okay, these thoughts are not mine, and this is rock bottom, and there's no under this. Like, when people wondering, like, what is rock bottom or what is that point, which I was, like, I was like, okay, after this, if suicide is not rock bottom, then death can't be it, because there's no coming back from death. So just reaching that point is like, nah, boy, I need to get out from here.
For sure.
But I did not know how. Like, I was so confused, as in, like, God, I don't have any plan. I don't know how to shift from this place. And I remember I couldn't even pray at that point, and I was just like, God, you're just gonna have to help me.
I think I think for me, it's funny you say that, because for me, all I knew how to do was pray. I think I just was like, he was the only person I had in that moment. The only person I had, and it's all I knew how to do. And I prayed to him and I said, God, I need you to send me a church.
Wow.
Somehow my spirit knew in that moment that I could not, the relationship I was seeking with God, it was deeper than the church, well, the religion that I was in before.
I'm not gonna go into that. So go
Yeah.
ahead.
So I just knew it. I said, I can't get this in the Catholic Church. And that feels so taboo to say, like, but it's true.
It's
And
true.
that's literally how I felt. For me. And I was like, God, I need you to send me a church. I had heard of a story of actually a co-worker I had worked with. And she actually told me that she prayed to God for her church, and God actually revealed her church to her in a dream. She saw the pastor in the church, and then she visited the church and she saw the same pastor, and that's how she realized, okay, this is the church she's supposed to be at. So I said, you know what? Well, if he could do it for her, he could do it for me. So I prayed and I was like, God, I need a church. And the story of how he connected the dots, when I look back on it, I'm so mind blown, because within probably a month or two of that prayer and me wanting God and seeking him and stuff, I something tragic happened. A friend of a friend, so this person was in our circle, that same childhood best friend I was telling you about, like one of her close friends tragically passed.
Right.
And it was very sad. She was, our age, well, my age.
Right.
And I think it really struck something within me, because I already felt like, I was crying out to God. I already felt like my life was worthless, like pointless. There was no purpose. But I also had reached a point where her death, for me, woke me up.
Wow.
She was healthy. She was living her life. She was, living a good life, like happy.
Wow.
Yeah, and we weren't best friends, but we were cordial. We would see each other all the time in, different spaces. And women, we like to comment and talk to each other on Instagram, like we know each other, right? Comment on each other's stuff and stuff like that. So she was close enough to me that I felt very, and I don't think that you needed to be close to her either, to feel that way about her death, because a lot of people felt that way, given who she was and her personality and the life she lived and how fun and bubbly she was. But yeah, that it did affect me, because to me, what I saw in that was that you never know when your time is, and I felt so heartbroken and so afraid. I felt afraid, because I
For
felt
yourself,
like
for your own
for
life.
myself, yes, because I literally said that could have been me.
Wow.
Was the difference between her life and mine?
Yeah.
That really broke me even more. There was a prayer for her, a prayer service. There was a friend of mine as well who I would have reached out to when I was applying to positions. This person, she worked in marketing. This is another friend of a friend. Listen, people, use your friend of friends, okay? They can help you.
Right.
Friend of a friend, she, I reached out to her regarding an interview that I was having, and it just so happened that when I attended this person's prayer service, I saw her there. I saw that other friend there, and it just so happened she came and she sat right next to me. I don't think if it wasn't for the situation that we would have met in person, because she also was a friend of the person that died. I recognized she loved God, that she had a passion for God, and we started talking about, the Bible and stuff, and I was like, I really want to get back into reading my Bible, and she was like, oh, I have a Bible study with my friends, and she invited me to the Bible study, and so we exchanged numbers at that point. And I feel like for that, during that period, we became, I guess, inseparable. Okay. She became my friend in Christ. She would have invited me to Bible study. After that, she would have invited me to an event. She sent it to me on Instagram once. I looked at it, I was like, okay, so there's some church called Champion Dynamic was having a prayer and revival night.
So ridiculous.
They were having a prayer and revival night, right?
Right.
And I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
She sent it, and I said, okay, whatever.
I know.
I don't think on purpose, but I think I was like, it looks good. No, I did say in my head, I was like, oh, it looks good. But I think I was busy. I was caught up. I put it to the side, right?
She's busy.
I continued doing what I was doing. She called me. She was like, did you see what I sent you? I sent, oh, on Instagram. I was like, yeah, I did. I was like, it looks good. Let's go. We went first night. The prayer I got, the deliverance I got.
Wow.
I was like, I'm supposed to be here. Went second night, same thing. Just the presence of God in the atmosphere. I didn't quite know in that moment what it was, but I felt something in my spirit. We ended up going to the church's Christmas dinner. So we went to their Christmas dinner. It was nice, Come January, I believe, we went to a service, actual service. One day after church, she looked at me, I looked at her. She looked at me, I looked at her. And we were just like, I think this is it. I think this is the church. And she was like, oh my God, I feel the exact same way.
Yeah, I've been going there since.
I've been going there ever since. Oh my gosh, I forgot to say the girl that died, her prayer service, it was on a Friday night. I didn't realize at the time that church had services every Friday night. And I worked not too far from that church. I started going every Friday night. Actually ended up going to that church for those few months before I ended up going to Champion. It was all aligned.
I have so much questions. I hate that I have questions.
Why?
Because because it's getting late.
I know. Okay, ask.
Okay, so you grew up Catholic. What laid that foundation for you to know that I needed God?
I just knew.
That's good.
I just knew. There was no feeling of, okay, I'm in the Catholic faith and something is wrong.
What did they teach me?
Yeah, that they teach me was wrong. Yeah, it wasn't anything like that. It literally was just me saying to myself, and possibly social media as well. I was watching, sermons and stuff online, and I was seeing how people worship. I was seeing others have this relationship with God that I did not have. And perhaps that more answers your question as to where it came from.
Yeah.
But it probably was like seeing others have this relationship with God, and I was like, what about me? I want that.
Yeah.
So
it went beyond the religion for you, and it was more about the
yeah,
intimacy.
I wanted that relationship.
So you found community.
I found community, and I prayed for community.
What was it?
And he answered my prayer within a matter of months.
Great. What was the transition like for you? So in the sense of when you decide to give your life to Christ, it's not a quick fix. It's not a quick everything just shifts. So what happened?
For me, it happened very quickly. And I don't know if it's because I was seeking him with my all.
Yeah.
I was running to that man, okay?
I
I was running to that man. I was like, I need you. I want you. I want to learn about you. I was reading my Bible. I was, and I was just seeking him with my whole heart.
Yeah.
And the Bible says, we seek him and we shall find him.
Yeah.
And because I wanted him, I assume that's why I was able to find him and grasp him and love him and,
that's good.
all those things so quickly.
What was the period of time? of this transition? So like months.
So from wanting and praying for church, let's say that was October.
Mhm.
By January, by December, I would have attended the Christmas dinner. By January, I would have went and realized this is the church for me. In October, I would have prayed for that for community. He would have sent me to the other church, which now I kind of believe is to build my foundation, to just build my spirit, to build my faith in him. So that would have been happening all through in October, November. I would have gone to Champion in January. In February, in Champion, I got baptized.
Tell us that story.
Of course, I know that's the story you want me to tell.
Tell us,
I know that's the
tell
story
us
you want me to
that
tell.
story.
Okay, so remember I was living a life in the world.
Go ahead.
I was living a life in the world, so I was, partying, drinking. The only thing I never did was smoke.
Right.
I was, yeah, thank God for that. But I was living a life, outside and stuff like that. Two previous carnivals actually. I told myself I'm gonna play mass next year. I have to do it next year.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
I said that I'll do it next year. Okay, the next year came, right?
Uh-huh.
And my friend, I believe she was in the country at the time, if I'm remembering correctly. I think that was the year she came back.
Pump master, right?
And
Uh-huh.
she what?
Pump master.
Pump master, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
And she came back, and I think she played without me that year. I don't think I played.
Okay.
If I hope I'm remembering correctly, but regardless, I didn't play that year, right? And I remember that year I was looking at I was looking at everybody. I was like, "Where's boy? I real missing out. Like, yeah, this look real good. Like, oh my gosh, like." And I was like, "Next year for sure. I have to play next year. I have to play next year." I was like, "Yeah, for sure. I play next year. I play next year."
Get in the gym.
Get in the gym. Oh, of course, I was in the best shape in my life.
You
By the way,
I know.
I was in the gym, and I was going to parties looking tougher.
Correct.
Right? And yeah, I was real. I think we were talking about we were in talks about it about because that time frame where I was getting into Christ is the time frame where you put on for your costume, right?
Right.
So we were talking about it and stuff, but I was just like I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't fully there, but I wasn't feeling it, right? I was like,
Good.
Carnival came, and I was in camp, and on Carnival Tuesday, I got baptized.
Just
On
let us feel
Carnival,
it.
yeah, on Carnival Tuesday, I got
That's
baptized.
so fantastic.
From going from the year before saying, next year I'm gonna play mass for sure. When I recognized what was happening, it was after I got baptized.
Yeah.
I said, I don't know if God, he reminded me of it. He was like, remember last year when he was like,
Correct.
next year I'm gonna play carnival? He was like, huh.
Well, he likes to boast, so he
Of
makes sure
course. He makes sure I
to
know.
remind you,
Yeah.
like, look what I did.
Yeah.
I just love it. Like your transition story is so cool because like we always feel as if we know where our life is gonna go and those kind of things like that, and then God just derails all of our plans, and it's just like I just have to humble myself and go along with this journey and go along
Yeah.
with this ride. So
Yeah.
tell me where you're at now. So you've gone through this transition, you're in that journey. Where are you now? Because you were depressed, considering suicide, went through your transition, your deliverance, got baptized. Where are you now?
I'm in the best place. The best. And I'm laughing, and I know you're laughing with me because you're so happy, and I'm so happy, but I can't stop smiling. I don't want to smile too much. But Kizzy, you know this, but I have never been happier in my life. And when I say in my life, I mean in my life.
Yeah.
I can't even begin to describe how I feel. I've never felt this way before. I feel so happy, even in the midst of a difficult situation or a hard day or no day is perfect. But remember earlier I said there's a peace.
There's a peace.
And you may not be happy every single day in terms of the feeling of happiness, but you are at peace.
Yeah.
And I'm walking in my purpose and I know it.
Right.
Like he speaks to me, he has spoken to me, he's given me direction of where he wants me to be. I've recognized that things in my past that I would have been afraid to do,
Right.
I've recognized that those were actually things that the enemy was preventing me from doing
Mm-hmm.
because it's actually tied to my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And how many confirmations did you get literally on those things? Like,
I
because
have,
you're, like, as I say, your story is crazy. So,
yeah, I
so
have gotten quite a few confirmations from different churches, different places I
multiple
would go,
sources.
multiple sources, would confirm things to me that, hey, you're supposed to be doing this. You're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be doing this. And the minute it's so funny that the confirmations didn't come, the confirmations came after what I would call the release of it.
Correct.
Because I believe that in the beginning of this year, actually, I felt it in my spirit that, hey, you need to be doing this. And I feel like God put it on my spirit and He took that fear away from me. I was
Mm-hmm.
so fearful for a long time
Mm-hmm.
to pursue, to put myself out there and to,
Mm-hmm.
appeal to people,
Mm-hmm.
to post on social media, to do all the things I've always known that I've been drawn to. I didn't know why, but I knew I was drawn to it. I knew that I wanted to do it. Now that I'm for Him and I'll be using my platform for Him, it's almost like He said, you don't need to be afraid anymore.
You don't.
You don't need to be afraid anymore. I'm
God,
with
I'm
you.
excited. I get excited.
I'm with you. I'm with you. He's like, I'm with you.
He
I'm with
is.
you.
He
And
is.
that's exactly how I felt. I
Yeah.
felt like, Shy, my confidence came from God.
Yeah.
My confidence was no longer on me. It was no longer about, are you good enough, Cheyenne? It was no
Woo!
longer about, can you do this? It was no longer
Woo!
about, what are people going to think? It was no longer about any of those things. It was about, I just feel like
Come
I could do
on.
this and I have God and I'm just going to do it because something just told me step out. And I think I got a word in that too. It just said that thing you want to do, step out.
Let's do it.
And then I started getting more words as the year went on, and I was just like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And
So you're currently in your career
in my,
of
oh,
choice.
right, oh, shucks. How could I feel like I'm not, I'm forgetting, I'm forgetting.
You said that you got a job opportunity or whatever,
Right,
but
I
we're just
did.
showing we showing the
Yeah.
difference,
God gave me
literally.
that job opportunity. He gave me that job in the beginning of this year. I started that job on the 2nd of January, 2024.
This year.
This year.
Look at how much things happen in this year
This year.
of your life.
2024 is my year, girl. It's my
Yeah.
year. It's my year.
But go ahead. So you're currently in the career of
Yes.
choice that you want.
Yes. In my field.
Yes.
Hmm.
You're doing things that you've always wanted to do.
And God has been blessing me. He has been blessing it.
Girl.
I've gotten so many opportunities within
Mm-hmm.
this year. Opportunities I don't even feel sometimes like I deserve. Like I'm like, God, if somebody is to look at me and say, she don't deserve that, I would say, you know what? You're right.
Absolutely.
You're right. I don't.
Absolutely.
But you know what I have? The favor of God. And I
Ah,
fully believe that that's why
that's good.
certain things happen to me in my life.
That's good.
100%.
But check this. This is what you wanted back then that you were
Mm,
fighting and frustrating yourself for.
hmm.
And now you've just surrendered your life to God.
Like that.
He's so good. He's just so
He
good.
is. He
I love
is.
it. I
Oh,
love
and I
it.
could go on and on, and
Yeah.
I'm just trying not to be super weird on your podcast and just be screaming and jumping up and down, but that's really what I want to do. I really want to do that because, Kizzy, I just, I have one regret.
Wow.
One regret. And I just wish I had, like I had seek him out sooner.
Wow.
I wish I had seek him out sooner
Jeez.
because I want to know more. I want to love more. I want to be loved more. Even though I can't be loved more by him. But you know what I mean? I just, yeah.
That's so good.
Hmm.
That's so good.
Hmm.
Would you say that the love that you know now is different from the love that you knew then?
110%. Yes. Yes.
Would you say that it has changed what you look for in a spouse now?
Yes. For sure.
Significantly.
Significantly. Significantly. Yes.
Yeah.
Significantly. Yes. It has. It definitely has. It changes everything,
Yeah.
Your relationship with God changes everything. And remember, I was talking about the previous year when I was looking on Instagram on Carnival and I was looking at everybody in their costumes and I was feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm missing out. Like I have to play next year. What I didn't tell you is that after I got baptized, I did the same thing. I was looking on social media and it was, like I said, Carnival Tuesday. So obviously that was what's on my timeline. And it amazed me because all I felt was brokenness.
Oh,
All I felt was, I really felt so broken and heartbroken for what I saw. I
oh,
didn't feel like I was missing out. I didn't feel like, girl, you need to do this next year. I felt so heartbroken. I felt like I just I want to pray for them. I felt like,
oh.
God, I want you to give them what you've given me.
Yeah.
This blessing of knowing you, this love for you. I felt like I just wish everybody could feel and know this because I knew what it was like to be there. And I get it. I
Yeah.
get it because
Hmm.
I've been it. I get it. But I also get that I was so ignorant
Oh,
and I didn't even know that I was ignorant.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I would look at somebody like me back then and probably be like, you screaming for God? You screaming and saying God is what is wrong with you? Like you're
Correct.
so extra.
Hmm.
Because I was ignorant and
Yeah.
I didn't get it and I didn't know. Looking back, it's such a heartbreaking place to be
Yeah.
standing on the other side. Gosh, I just wish I knew
You
sooner.
just
I just
didn't
wish
know.
I knew sooner
You just
and
don't know what you don't
you
know.
just don't
Like,
know what you don't know,
you
yeah.
just don't know.
And that's what I just prayed that he could do that for everybody else. And
Yeah.
I really want the whole purpose of me sharing my story is because I
Good.
do want because we had talks about doing this. I spoke about sharing it on my platform and I think doing it here with you makes it easier to get into it. So eventually I do want to, share it over and over again, but I think this is the first time I'm actually sharing it to an
Hmm.
audience. Um, and it's because I know that people would have seen me
Hmm.
just last year,
Woo.
just last year,
Yeah.
outside,
This is so good.
outside, and this year they've seen something completely different.
Completely. Yeah.
They've
That's
seen a shift.
good.
They've seen a shift. And
Wow.
I want them to realize or more so understand that what I have found, it will change you too. It will change you too, and I'm not the same. And I'm
Yeah.
so thankful for that.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for that. Like how I even view myself is different. And I've always been a confident person. But I didn't think that I could be even more confident. Like
Not
how?
like this.
How? Not like this. Like how?
Not like
How
this.
am I more? It's
You're
different.
just settled.
It's settled.
Just settled.
Definitely
Yeah.
settled. Settled. Know who you are.
Yeah.
Know your purpose. Know your identity.
Yeah.
And these are things that are just priceless. Priceless.
Guys, this is Cheyenne. Cheyenne, I'm so grateful for you sharing your journey, and I'm glad that this is the first platform that you've shared it with, and I can't wait for you to share even more and just open up even more because we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of your testimony.
Mhm.
And this is your testimony. So there's so much victory even now
Mhm.
that you're going to be experiencing even after this. Like there's so much victory that you're going to experience and so much freedom.
Mhm.
If you when this come out, there's so much freedom that you're going to experience. And I'm just so excited
Amen.
for that to happen.
Mhm.
And you'll just watch Cheyenne become all of who God wants her to be as she grows, as she becomes brilliant, and as she becomes bold and unapologetic in who she is and the identity that God has given her. We are going to watch her transform into that person, and she's already in that
Amen.
journey. What is on your number one song on your playlist, right? Huh? What's the number one song on your playlist right now, Cheyenne? Huh?
Kelly Marie.
You want to share any music with us, anything like
No,
that?
I'm sure y'all know.
anybody you're listening to in particular,
Right now, I can't. No, nothing
Mm,
comes to mind.
mm. Okay, well,
No, nothing.
bye.